I think some people out there listening might be thinking, all right, I can either be a private lender and lend money that way, or I can become a partner on the deal and bring the money that way. Can you kind of speak to those differences and why you chose one over the other?
Absolutely. So what I would consider being a partner in the deal, what I call is being on both sides of the equation. You're on the debt and the equity side of the equation. The obviously the upside of being on the equity side is you are potentially splitting part of that profit. The downside is depending on how your partnership agreement is written, you are also beholden to some of the downside for that property. So if you get in there as an equity owner and, it goes sideways, the roof caves in, your hold time is twice as long as you thought it was going to be. You find some random mechanics lien on there when you go to sell it, whatever it is. If you're a 25% owner, you have 25% of that liability as well. So that's something to take into consideration if you're thinking about doing a JV partnership or any sort of partnership going into business with someone. That yes, there's potential for the upside, because I get asked that a lot. They're like, oh, if you're already lending on the deal, why don't you want to be a partner? It's like, I don't want my name on title for something I don't control. Like, I invest passively because I want to go and live actively. I don't want to be on the phone with contractors.
Say that again, please.
Say that again.
Wait a minute. Say
Let's go
that
on a
again.
t-shirt.
That is my personal mantra on how I get through life and how I make decisions. I invest passively so I can live actively. And my version of living actively does not involve tracking down contractors and talking to closing companies about why this mechanics lien is illegitimate and all these other, that's not part of what I want to spend my day doing. That's why I do private lending. So and again, that's my personal goals. That's my personal choice. So if someone else is out there, but they want that potential upside, they want that partnership, they want to be an active investor, but also bring some of the capital, then by all means do it. That's just not the way I choose to invest.
I love it. I love that. I invest passively so I can live actively. That's my next tattoo. Now, no.
Happy to be inspiration.
Yeah. And just like you said, that's your personal mantra, right? That's how you live. And I love that, understanding exactly what you want out of life and how to invest. So many people ask that same question, debt versus equity. Some people don't really understand debt versus equity when it comes to ownership, but wrapped up is essentially you either own a piece of it, good or bad, or somebody owes you money no matter what. Yep. Right? It's like one or the other. I like it.
So I got a question. So what does a typical deal look like? Let's just give me a typical deal, what those numbers look like, how I know you've kind of already talked a little bit about how you vet that person, look on their Facebook pages, and so on and so forth. But can you kind of give us a run through that about what's the typical length of time?
Sure. So what I fund exclusively are fix and flips in the Hampton Roads area. And when I say that is I want something that's in a good school district. So all three schools have to be above 6 out of 10 on the, rating scale. There has to be something, it's not really been a problem thanks to COVID and low inventory, but it has to be something that the average days on market are 45 days or below. Everything we funded last year, hit the market and usually had offers above asking within 48 hours, just because inventory is so low in my local market. But we fund things that are what I would consider maybe minor to moderate rehab. We're not going to be the lender for a deal that you're updating a 1900s farmhouse. That's way too much renovation, way too much holding time. Our loans are only out usually 3 to 4 months. So it's someone taking title to the property, you're doing paint, carpet, new cabinets, new countertops, kind of really maximizing the dollar value that they're putting into the property. And they're getting it on MLS, 4 to 6 weeks later. And then they're, in escrow a few days after that. And then they're closing 30 to 45 days after that. So they are literally in and out of a flip in 3 to 4 months.
I think that's about typical flip times. That sounds good. Okay. And the you mentioned during low inventory. So obviously, buyers are buying right now. So I'm not sure how long or how many, if you've been through like a soft point for lenders, but what happens when inventory is high and it's, they got more choices in lending and lending opens up a lot more. How exactly does that look for you as a lender? Are you like actually going out and advertising? I'm sure right now you probably don't need to advertise as much because everybody's, it's a hot market right now. So what does that look like for you?
The funny thing about being a private lender, and it actually started, the whole reason I started the Facebook group I have is we are really good. We take the private part very seriously. We are hide and seek go champions. Like I cannot stress this enough. So generally the hard part is actually finding the lender, not so much actually, getting them to fund the deal, to be honest with you. Once you find the right private lender, you can just kind of recycle, keep going. But I mean, as far as what it takes to actually kind of build that relationship, that's going to be unique to everybody. I mean, it really is going to be just a matter of what is that person looking for. The best thing I can say for teaching other people, because I get asked this a lot because I teach other people about private lending. They're like, aren't you just putting yourself out of business because you're teaching your competition? And I'm like, to me, that's not an abundance mindset. I want to walk into life with an abundance mindset, because basically they aren't competition to me. If anything, they're competition for the big banks and the hedge funds that actually fund these hard money loan companies. So if I can come in and basically I'm teaching people to take dollars from Wall Street and bring it back to Main Street. And a lot of the people I talk to are veterans and active duty service members and their families. Basically, I'm teaching other military families how to be more financially independent. And then oftentimes, like one of the criteria for my borrowers is during the course of their flip, they have to hire one veteran, one active duty, or one military spouse. And granted, here in Hampton Roads, if you throw a rock, you're going to hit 5 people affiliated with the military, but it just goes as a way for me to help better my military community and my friends, that I'm helping maybe employ a spouse as a stager. I'm helping employ a veteran business as, maybe they run an HVAC company or a plumbing company. So it's just my little part of giving back. So I would rather be part of a solution to a problem than view it as I'm training my competition, because I'm really not. I mean, in all reality, I personally think it's far easier and oftentimes a lot cheaper to work with private money than it is to work with hard money. So even if I walk into the room and say, I'm a private lender, and 12 other people hold their hand up and go, yay, me too, join the club, there's still going to be plenty of opportunities out there for us to lend.